LPT. When asked for your expected salary in an interview, never give a number, instead give a range. If asked what is your salary expectations, don't say I was thinking of X dollars. Instead say that for this role I expect the salary to be in range of X to Y, and the starting point of that range should always be the salary that you would like to get. Never give your lowest number either. In California they have to post the range now. Then you're stuck with the lowest number you said. HR knows what you're content with and only negotiates around that number. I only say around high number. Knowing the lower number I have in mind would suffice. And then I'm negotiating to stay as much above my minimum as possible. Maximum should still be a reasonable number though. I've only ever been for one job interview where I didn't know the salary beforehand. And when they asked what I expected to be paid, I immediately added 25 onto what the role would normally pay per year at its highest level and used my experience as agreed without question, and I got the job. And always make the lowest amount higher than what you really want. What worked for me almost always was quoting my maximum number plus 20-30 of negotiating tolerance added on top. This allowed me to play along with HR while they negotiated down and arrived somewhere around my maximum number. Quoting a range usually fetches you the lower number of the range, fine if that's what you were aiming for anyways. Disagree if you give a range. Expect they'll just start at the lowest. Figure out at what salary you would sign immediately for and start with that. I usually reply with I'd like my salary to be competitive and be within industry standards. Could you let me know what the estimated salary range is for the role? Hit M with the OL switcheroo. Your lowest number should be what you will be happy with plus 510. This is very important. You say 60-70, interviewer hears 60. It doesn't matter. Always ask how much they've budgeted for the role and make your decision based on it. Companies should be forced to disclose that before wasting everyone's time. I always pull up sources. This source says someone graduating with my degree should earn this much. Minimum. With my experience, that should be that. But my last job paid this much. If the salary range isn't posted alongside the job listing, I'm already not interested. The game is played by asking what is the range for the position. Single quote. The first person to say a number loses. Never give a number, ask what the position offers. People will just hear the lowest number in your range as your number, emo. You don't provide a value. You answer with what is the salary range of position to the interviewer and make them set the opening bid. Somewhere between $1 and all the dollars. I wish I could get an interview for a job that had salary. I generally go with the top of the range. If they won't give it, even if they do, I say something to the effect it's going to cost X dollar on base to gain my consideration. Beyond that, I expect a full benefits package and I refuse to commute. Context: 9 years as a professional in data analytics. I definitely did not play those cards when I was early in my career, which is something everybody should consider when negotiating. I expect that this role be commensurate with my current salary, at a bare minimum, but also in line with the increase in responsibilities and professional experience the requisite mandates. People go to interviews without having the salary stated clearly first. Pro tip is tell those interviewers expecting to haggle to feck off. Threads like this amuse me because it's people with customer service experience in retail arguing with 30-year corporate veterans about how to negotiate salary. Join a union and it won't matter since it's already set. I use posted salary range for this type of position is I actually got a response was that my source was incorrect, which I could appreciate. I focused on other locations as the premium required for the commute was not happening. This doesn't seem like great advice. HR is going to skew towards your lowest number. First one to say a number loses. If they ask what I'm expecting, I say something along the lines of, I expect the pay to be competitive or something vague like that. Once they tell me the number they had in mind, the cards are in my hand at that point. Don't give a number until you find out what's budgeted for that position. Find out when their fiscal year is and prorate that budgeted number based on hire date. Then give an exact number about 20 higher than you'll take. Something like $175,240 is more likely to land on $175,000 than asking for $175,000 flat. This is certainly better than giving your real range. But I somewhat disagree. In my experience, it works best to just say around a single number. But a number that is higher than you expect and would be happy with. If you would be very happy with 90, say you are looking for something around 100. Giving a range is the same as giving a single number. It will be the lowest number in the range. Instead, know what your market value is. And ask for more than that. I usually just cut straight to the point and ask what's the maximum amount you'd be willing to pay. Me based on my experience. Most companies will give something more than just the starting wage, and it cuts the bull crap and gets right to whether or not they are paying me enough for me to find it worthwhile to accept the job. I've had very good luck with this and avoiding a number entirely while putting it back in their court. Given my years of experience with XYZ technology putting me at very senior status, and my project successes, I would expect to come in near the top of your pay scale for this role. BTW. What is your budgeted range? Incorrect. You should be giving the number that corresponds to a higher end of a fair market salary for this position. Yes. You should research it beforehand. Alternative method. Which works if you are already paid well, you just respond with my current compensation is Z. I would expect a compensation increase if I were to make a move. We negotiate salaries now? What type of white collar working in a skyscraper gotta dress up nice everyday type of shit is this? Every single place I worked at. A representative who didn't even work for the company, some third-party dude I think, said this is what they are going to pay. We don't live in the early 2000s. Or if you live in California, reply, I would like a clarification of the position's salary range under the same Labor Code 432 before responding. New York and a dozen other states have similar laws. I don't know about other nations. It's hard enough to know the hour laws for one state. In general, when job hunting, always look up the protections and rights you have. At this point in my career, I'm not entertaining anything below $X and then wait for them to reply. There is no advantage of giving a number. No. You ask them instead what is in the budget for this role. Recruiting managers always have an exact figure provided. Be prepared to live and die by that lower end. Unless you added an acceptable percentage to your current salary and made that the lower end. Better advice is to throw the question back to them and ask them how much are they offering for the role. And add depending on benefits. Then you have some wiggle room when they come back at the low end of the salary range. Ask for a breakdown of benefits and then say benefits are lower than you expected and need a higher salary to compensate.